You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show.
Nasty, hateful, insane nation that ever existed.
Yo, what it do, everybody? It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the 11:30 podcast. What's good, everybody? Going out there, man. We made it back here to another episode. You know what time it is? It's not 7:30, it's 11:30, man. For real, I'm excited. Got a cool guest, great guest that's going to be joining me this week on the 11:30 podcast show. But before I dive into that, thank everyone for tuning in. You watching on YouTube. Thank you guys so much, man. Definitely like it, leave a comment, and share it. Tell me what you think about the show and all that, man, and what you like to chat about or hear me chat about on future episodes. And also, if you're new to the podcast, once again, definitely hit that subscribe button and all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. But you guys, like I said, man, dope guests here joining me this week on the 11:30 podcast. Holly, yes, she's an entrepreneur. She's an also dope podcaster. She's the host of the Morning Mimosas podcast. Yes, we're gonna be chatting with her. It's gonna be fun. Great conversation coming up here on the 11:30 podcast. And we ain't gonna waste no more time. We're gonna get into the show, man. Bringing on my awesome guest, Holly. How's it going? How's it going?
It's going great. How about yourself?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful here on the podcast with you. How's everything? How's life treating you right now?
I'll be honest with you. Too blessed to be stressed.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
hey, I dig it. I dig it. Hey, too blessed to be stressed. You gotta. It's so much to look forward to. So much to be grateful for, and it's so much that's going on in the world. So much that's going on in the community. So you gotta find something to uplift you. Start off the week good. So I dig it. I dig it. No stress. No stress. So Holly, once again, thank you for taking the invite, coming on here on the 11:30 podcast show. For my listeners and viewers, it's your first time here on the podcast. Tell everyone about yourself. Tell everyone about Holly.
All right, y'all. So, as he mentioned, my name is Holly. I'm 30 years old. I got two kids, a 3-year-old daughter, Serenity, a 2-year-old son, Sincere. I am multi-talented. I have my own podcast. I'm a singer. I'm a mom. I'm a businesswoman, and I'm a activist. I wear many hats. So
Okay. You got a lot of hats and you do a whole lot of things. You said you sing.
I
How
do.
long? Yeah. How long you been dipping and dabbing and singing? How long you been singing?
I've been singing since I was a child. My
Okay.
first interest in singing was um, probably the late 90s when I was like 7 years old, listening to like TLC,
Okay.
Aaliyah, just the R&B greats that we all, sample now, I should say. So
Okay, cool. That's dope. That's dope. The singing is sort of like a hobby or passion of yours. You've been doing it for a while.
I've been doing it for a while. I tried to become famous when I was like in middle school, but I had sent like a because I didn't know how the logistics work, so I sent a CD to Def Jam, not knowing, that you had to put like care of this person or something like that. So nothing ever came of that, but still trying.
That's so interesting that you say that. I have a similar story too of mine though, because I used to do rapping and making music with my brother and stuff. But I used to make these little demos and I used to send them to Rap a Lot Records, and I used to always call Rap a Lot Records and ask them, "Hey, you guys, did you get my demo? Did you guys get my demo?" And it was this thing called, I think, Talent 2K, and I used to fill out the application. I used to try to beg my mom to do it, but obviously, we had to get a lawyer to look over, some paperwork. But that's a very similar story of music. Our paths also. But you're a podcaster only. You just started in the podcast, and also you're the host of Morning Mimosas, right?
I sure am. Host, founder. Yes, sir.
Okay, 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 cool, cool, cool. What got you starting with podcasting and stuff, and your mission with Morning Mimosas?
Ooh wee, you got some time. But
Yes, yes, yes.
so so I actually started Morning Mimosas the spring of 2017, but I didn't do anything with it. I just made the page, announced that I was doing podcasting, and that was that. It was in 2022, so last year. My mom lost four siblings and a cousin. So I lost two aunties, two uncles, and then my mom's cousin. And then we lost a whole bunch of other family members in between that. And instead of wallowing in my grief, which what was going to happen, I decided to turn my grief into something positive. So Morning Mimosas, I decided to revamp it late, what was it, October of 2022. And then I started looking for people to be a part of the team like in November. And then I found a few people, trial error. I've got my VP now. And then we premiered February 4th. Um, and our message is we put value in criminal justice, promoting healing and education for our Black community. And if I may talk about the criminal justice aspect, so we will be trying to solve cold cases and or missing person cases of African Americans, and then also trying to free our wrongfully convicted brothers and sisters, and then just trying to do something to change the system for it to be actually equal and not just be biased. So that is our mission. And then obviously the healing and education also ties into that, breaking mental health stigmas in our community, promote people to get healing for themselves because they deserve to be better, and everything in between.
Okay, okay. I dig it. I dig it. I thank you for sharing that. Sorry for your loss, and I was going to ask you, what made you sit on it for so long, and you talked about it how you lost family members, and that's what kind of like started with the podcast and stuff, and I think that's far as your mission goes, also with the podcast, I think that is amazing because in the Black community, we definitely don't have a whole lot of sort of activists and also people who can support the community. And when we go through grief and so many different things that is no really one actually to turn to. And I like how you mentioned also far as the criminal justice, because I see a lot of stuff far as where our African American brothers are wrongfully convicted for
Mhm.
stuff. And I was just watching something not too long ago, and I literally forgot what it was, just off the top of my head. But I was thinking about it. But he was wrongfully convicted of a murder, and actually it was what's the name of it? Just Mercy, I believe, with Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx, and it was a guy who he was just in his car, and the lady, a white lady who got killed. And at that time, back in the days, it was, times were really crazy, and he wanted to, try to get off and stuff like that. And I've seen that a lot. I'll try to interview also a guy who um had a documentary also out, and he was wrongfully convicted or wrongfully convicted and stuff like that. But yeah, what also besides criminal justice, what made you sort of dab into that part?
I lost my daughter, my firstborn, when I was 15. Um, she was drowned, and I never got justice for her. Um, so I don't want other parents wallowing in grief for umpteen years, because I know a lot of parents are wallowing in their grief, especially because a lot of these cold cases are 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. These parents are in their 50s and 60s, don't know what happened to their kid 20, 30, 10, 5 years ago, So um, I want to give families a sense of healing and truth because they deserve to know the truth, because
Yeah,
I never got that.
you're right. You're right. I appreciate you. Sorry once again, for your loss. At any point, did you ever feel like it was your fault? As far as um the situation that happened.
Yeah, I blame myself. I was living the street life. and I was hanging with some shady people back then. And I should have protected my daughter better, but I didn't. I had to go make money. So,
Oh, okay, okay. I appreciate you, for sharing that. And it's, we need more people in the black community, like I said, that are gonna reach so many others, and also solve, some of these, cold cases that, do go unsolved, for many years. What definitely, motivates you though on a daily basis. You talked about losing, family members, and also, losing your daughter.
uh, what keeps me going also is my own children, my living children, Serenity and Sincere. I am trying to break generational curses and build generational health for my children. So I don't want to sit here and continuously dwell on what has happened in the past. I just want to be able to, take those L's, turn those L's into lessons, and just be better for my children and myself.
Okay, okay, I dig it. I dig it. And you say you don't want to take no more else. You want to, look forward to the future with something that you want to, accomplish, with your, your podcast, and also, your mission to, being, criminal justice and stuff like that.
Um, mm, the lessons in that. Um, well, okay, so turning L's into lessons, right? So the L's would be the losses that people had to endure. And the lessons that I want to teach from those specific L's is that you can't just think that you can do something and that you think that you're going to get away with it just because it's been a umpteen amount of years or whatever the case is. Oh, I did that smooth, so I got away with that, or blah blah blah. So that's kind of what I want to teach is, although these people have lost their families, I want to make sure that the lesson is that these people pay for what they got, what they did, because that's not right that people are just roaming free and there's a mom who's been grieving her son for 30 years.
Mhm. Yeah, you ever thought about being, entering, being, like a lawyer or something, in also the criminal justice, you know?
So that's actually funny. So initially when I graduated high school, that was actually going to be my major. I wanted to be a lawyer, which is actually
Okay.
interesting enough. But ooh, defending scum is not what I can do. So that's why I decided not to do that. I can't defend. I cannot defend no murderer when my child my child was taken from me. That just it wouldn't have worked. So
Hmm. Okay, okay. I dig
can't
it. I
change
dig it. I dig.
that.
Yeah. Okay. 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 You mentioned one other thing. Generational curses. You want to, kind of like, um prevent generational curses, because in the black community, that's one thing that kind of like, it's a cycle that continues to go on, each and every, day and time and stuff like that. And one thing that I also wanted to, prevent in my life, now that I'm a father, of 8-month old little boy that I love the most, and is also generational curses. And I listened to your podcast, and I like the last episode you was talking about with your guests, about, good fathers and stuff. And it's not a lot of good fathers out here, and the ones that are out here don't really get, the credit that,
Yes.
that they deserve, and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So, generational curses, me personally, just, being in my father life, because my father wasn't in my life. I had my stepfather, but I lost him at when I was 7 years old. And
I'm
I had
sorry.
multiple, thank you, yeah, I had multiple father figures and stuff, and a big brother and stuff. So, definitely, I always want to prevent, generational curses, because my mom, she was a single mom. And at that time in the 80s, and, growing up, they didn't have social media, they didn't have, internet. It wasn't, you didn't have all this knowledge that you have now, to actually figure out. So as my son get older, and as he grow, um I definitely, want to continuously to be there for him and show him the way and stuff like that, because it could also it's generation curses, not also just with fathers not being in there, but it's also moms who
Yes.
don't you, just in different scenarios who can cause the different outcomes of the child's life as well.
I completely agree. So it's actually interesting. So when I released that Good Fathers interview, it actually coincided with an episode that I did Saturday about women's accountability. Um, Women need to be held accountable for their stuff too, because, like, for example, so here in my state, I'm going to be presenting a paternity fraud bill, um, because I am tired of good men being lassoed around by these. I mean, it's not all women, but just these bad women. Um, and if I can talk about that bill just a little bit, what that bill would stipulate is that a woman would have to bring all possible fathers to court to get tested, not just that one man that she thinks is the best father for her child. So that way she's putting it all on the line. She doesn't have to come back and do the testing, and then go that way. And then if she does bring just one gentleman to the to child support court and the man fails to appear, because you guys know that if a man misses a court date, he's deemed father by default.
Hmm.
I'm trying to get rid of that father by default thing. That's what I'm trying to get rid of. So obviously, you pay for not appearing for court, but give the man like 30 to 60 days to submit to DNA testing, and then if he is the father, boom, put him on child support. If he's not, give him his ticket for failure to appear, and move on. And then also, women are not going to like this one, but also women paying back the child support to the good man after he's deemed not the father. I'm telling you, I'm trying to change this whole thing, because it's not. It's just, I watch a lot of paternity court, and I'm tired of good men being put down. It's getting ridiculous. So I,
Yeah.
I, I had to say that. Sorry. It's just.
No, 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 no. You got more. You got enough time to say it and to voice your opinion, because it is out there, And I'm with my fiance, and she definitely talk about we talk about together, me being in my son's life, and she know the past how I was, how my father was not raised in my life and didn't want to go down that road, and because a lot of relationships, a lot of good relationships, sort of go down the wrong path so soon as a child get involved. And you said something that was interesting. I don't think I really knew that, though. You said so when the guy has a court date to come in for the paternity, he is deemed the father by default, even if that's not the father.
Mm-hmm. And I need the United States government to stop doing that, um, because if he's not the biological father, what does that do for the child? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with father figures being there for kids. I'm not against that.
Yeah.
I'd be an idiot to be against that.
Hmm.
What I'm
Hmm.
what I'm saying is, punish the man for failure to appear, but don't give him that father by default, until you guys have the DNA evidence that he is the father. I'm trying to get rid of that, because it's getting out of hand, where these women are saying, "Oh yeah, it's John's baby, that's for
Mm.
sure." And then they bring John there. John misses the court date. He failure to appear. Plus, he's deemed father by default. All of a sudden, he's at work, and then he's noticing that, oh, look, my checks are being garnished. What does that say? Oh, child support. I mean, you should have just took your butt to court too. I'm not.
Mm.
It's it's a whole mess that needs to be cleaned up. And Holly's the vacuum. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. And the government is. I was talking about this on an episode of Beyond 11:30, how the government wanna take out the black man out of the father hole, and basically the government gives all these, assistance and, everything to the women, and they could give them this and give them a Section 8 help, but the man can't live there, and and pushes the man out the woman, out the life and stuff like that. And I think that is crazy. And for it definitely some accountability needs to be held if women are actually out there just saying, you know, John, let's say John, let's John, we're gonna take him to court, and you don't even really know if this the father, but you just guessing. Yeah, I think that is, that's another generational curse that needs to be fixed, needs to be fixed, or talked about more, because not only, is John gonna grow up without a father, or may not knowing his real father, but also, you know, our mom was just like, oh well, this your dad, and not even really just thinking about the impact of the child's life, in the future though.
Exactly. It's what women need to, and the reason I'm holding women accountable is it's Women's History Month, y'all. So that's one of the that's like my big thing is holding women accountable, not just this month, but every day. Um, I know some women may see like, oh, that person's a cash cow, but you guys need to do what's right for your child. That's what I'm saying. If you got to be that woman that takes all five of the dudes that you mess with to the court, do that. You have my respect because at least I'm like, hey, she's getting the testing done for her child. At least she's trying to get the truth for her child.
Yeah,
You at least get the respect in that regard instead of just saying, hey, it's this and it's not that. It's about the truth
yeah.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, you're right. It is about the truth at the end of the day. But the crazy thing also about life, perception is reality. So, far as, I'm not, siding with no one, but I'm like, I will hope that, the woman would do the right thing. But also, like I said, perception is reality. You take all five of those dudes at the court, now it's like, well, damn, you don't know who your baby daddy is. You just, all five of these dudes,
I,
you know?
I know, I know, I know. I no, trust me, I get that. I get that. I get that part of the perception,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
but at least for the ones who have common sense and respect, they'd be like, at least she's
Mhm.
getting the testing done for her child because she wants to know the truth. Yeah, is the situation messy? Yes, but at least she's trying to clean it up. I mean, I guess that's just where I'm coming from. If I was in that situation, which thank God I'm not, um, that's what I would do. I would bring John, Jacob, Jingleheimer, and Schmidt to the courthouse, okay? And I'll test all of them just to make sure that my baby knows who he or she's father is, being raised with their dad, and if the father does not want to be there, of course, the legal action of putting him on child support. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I get you. I get you. Generational curses is definitely a conversation that we need to continue having. There's a lot of good fathers out here that definitely want to be in their lives, and sometimes we just get those bitter baby mamas who just
yes.
realize like, oh, so you don't want to be with me no more, so now I gotta do X Y Z, and I gotta do
Right.
the most. So like nah. So no, I always talk with my fiance, and let's communicate. And I think communication is a big thing. I always say comprehending is another thing too, because
Yes.
we could talk all day, but if you're not understanding me or comprehending me, what I'm saying, also listen to. You gotta listen though. A lot of people, just want to just hear themselves talk, like just want to
Mm-hmm.
be loud and want to have the right word or the last word, and just want to be right. And it's not necessarily about. And when you're raising a child, and especially a black child, it's not necessarily about being right. It's just about just open up and just listen and stuff like that. So communication, like I said, is I think is a big factor, because it can go a long way. Because a lot of boys, a lot of men are struggling, especially the men in the 40s, 30s, 50s, struggling because they don't know who their dad is. They never had their father come to them and support them in their games and stuff like that. And the mom can't do it because why? She's working two jobs, three jobs, and stuff like that, or may just can't do it. So it's a lot that we need to talk about. And you mentioned mental health too. A lot of a lot in the black community, we tend to, sort of run away from, you know, the mental health aspect of like, I don't want to talk to no one. Or more so, if you've been raised in a black home, uh, I don't, maybe you have heard it though, but what goes on in this house stays in this house. So that kind of like like you just that kind of like close you off as an adult. So you just don't really talk about much stuff. But mental health is definitely big. I talk about that a couple of times, multiple times, many times here on the podcast. It's just about being open and just sharing how you feel.
That is for sure. And if I can actually talk about something you just stated, um, Black parents, it's time for us to stop doing what our parents did, which is not listen to our children. Okay. For some reason, we there's this phrase is children are to be seen and not heard. I think we need to, that is appropriate in certain situations, but we need to dead that for the most part because if your child is trying to come to you and tell you something that is important to what they got going on, important to their health, why are we shutting that? Why are we shutting that down? Oh, because we don't want to hear it, because we don't want to deal with it. I'm tired of that. My daughter's 3 and my son is 2, and I let them express themselves to me however they need to because I want them to be able to talk to me when they get older. I don't want them to be like, well, I can't talk to my mom about this because she's gonna be like this. No, we gotta. That's also a part of breaking generational curses too. Is doing better than what our parents did.
Hmm. That is so facts right there. So facts. A lot of us want to do exactly what our parents did because they're my parents, right? They're my mom and my dad, and that's what they did. So that's what I'm gonna do, and that's all cool and stuff. And shout out to my guy Laquan Johnson, awesome guy. Always come on, but he said one thing that I always will remember. Like if mommy, like baking a cake on Tuesdays, and she always do it. And you grow up now, you start baking the cake on Tuesdays because why? That's what mommy always did. So one thing, it don't mean you can switch it up. It don't mean that any disrespect to mommy cake that she made on Tuesday or something like that. You can make it on Wednesday. You can add some little sprinkles to it and do it your way though. But I think a lot of us do get stuck in that motion that well, that's how my mom did it, or that's how my dad did it, and that's how I was raised and stuff like that. So, like, I'm really big on trying to, change the whole generational, curses and do stuff in different. Like I said, social media and all these information, all this knowledge wasn't, around then, and like how you also said, I have a little boy, so definitely want him to be able to come to me and talk about it all because black boys, always say, hey, don't cry. You're a big boy. Like, hope
Right.
you ain't supposed to be crying and stuff like that. Hey, man, if you crying, what's wrong? Talk to me. Let's talk it out because I talk about it a lot. We could be the best parents, in the world, but as soon as they get out in the real world and get out in society and go to school, it's so many different influences and
Yeah.
people that try to, turn them down. So, you know, talk. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. Gotta have more good fathers and just more good parenting out there in the black community though, in general though. Okay. We're gonna move on here on the podcast though. But before we do, Morning Mimosas though, when your new episodes drop and tell everyone when they can catch
Alrighty, y'all. So Morning Mimosas drops on Saturdays, and I'm gonna break down the time zones because I'm good at that now. So it is 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Central, and 1 p.m. Eastern time. And you guys can catch us live on Facebook. And we're actually a part of a network called MTS Network. So we're also, when we stream live on our Facebook, we also stream live on their network. And then something else as well. So we're Morning Mimosas is also on Amazon and Roku via Queen Talks TV's app. So if you have Amazon or Roku, you can download Queen's Talk TV, and Morning Mimosas is on there as well. And then for our audio listeners, We are on Anchor and Spotify.
Okay, Anchor, Spotify. Hey, you guys, man, the links will definitely be down below, so you can tap in and definitely subscribe to Morning Mimosas for real. That's great, great, great. We're gonna move on here on the 11:30 podcast. You're a comedy fan, Holly, right? You like comedy?
I love to laugh. Hardy
No.
hard.
Okay, okay, okay. Have you seen the latest Chris Rock Netflix special?
I saw, I, s- I saw a little bit of it.
What was your thoughts on it though? I had to catch it. I had to catch it
Ooh,
late last night because everyone was talking about what Chris Rock had to say regarding the slap, because I think that was the most everyone was expecting him to say. But I love how he saved it to the last minute though. But what was your thoughts on
so I agreed with him when he said, if somebody cheated on me, I'm not going to interview that person that cheated on me. Oh,
it?
all of that. How did that make you feel? That part took me out because I was like, for real, like I love Will and Jada, but they just put them. Sometimes you gotta keep some things to yourself, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that entanglement she had with August, girl, you should have lied about that. But anyways, because no, that. But him talking, but yeah, he has a right to. That man got slapped in front of 50 million people.
Yeah.
I would feel some kind of way just because he didn't talk about it last year. It still happened, and people still
Hmm.
replay it now. And but
Hmm.
what's making me mad is social media's reaction to it. They're talking about, oh, Chris Rock is, oh, he's going below the belt, blah 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 blah. I'm like, he has a right to. That man, like I said, slapped him on national TV in front of millions of people. I would have done to his ass too. I'm sorry. Like all that whole segment he did was very appropriate.
Yeah, it
Me.
was. It was. I like how you say he should have July'd him though. I like that one. Though. When I saw it, that part right there was very interesting though. Like some things though that goes down in the household, like y'all marriage and y'all business, that that whole stuff should have just not like come on. And then the whole August situation to see him, how that unfolded, it wasn't right though. But I feel like Will Smith just picked on the wrong one and went up there and just slapped him though. But I feel like that was crazy in my
Yeah.
opinion
That was
though.
ridiculous. I'm like, Will, if you wanted to slap somebody, you should have slapped August for
He really
Aaron,
should have.
Aaron the dirty laundry. If any, I don't condone violence. I wanted to put that memo in there. I don't condone violence, but I'm just saying, if you're gonna direct your anger, direct it where it needs to be. Don't misdirect your anger.
Hmm. It was crazy, and I think I think it was a moment thing. He just went up there and just felt some type of way, and then talking about it a year later is actually funny though. But the look that Jada had gave him, and he just sitting there like, you know, really, and then go up there slap Chris Rock, which like how you said he should have did August though, and just made Will look a fool though, for real. Like all of that was just crazy though. But I loved it though. I loved it.
If
we gonna keep the fun.
if I
Uh, go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go
if I can just say one more thing, I
ahead.
really feel like Will's anger is misguided. You know, instead of worrying about like Chris Rock and what everybody else got to say, he should probably be worried about the fact that Jada's still in love with Tupac. But that's a whole nother convo.
That is a whole nother conversation though, for real though. Will Smith ain't. I don't know. I don't even know what to say with it though. I think he's trying to bounce back though from everything he got going on though. It's crazy though. Yeah, his anger was definitely misdirected to the wrong person though. It should have been August though. Like y'all, you just said, he should have July. He should have July. Okay, we're gonna move on, you guys, here on the 11:30 podcast show. It's time for the 11:30 podcast, you guys. Hot seat, you guys. Okay, all right, Holly. It's time for the hot seat. I got 6 questions for you. We're gonna roll with it. You ready?
Ready?
All right, all right. Okay, what's the best piece advice for what's the best piece advice for young for okay, I'm gonna skip that one. I'm gonna come back to that one. Okay. A movie is coming out about your life and yeah, a movie is coming out about your life. What actor would best fit to play
What actress would best? Okay, so if we're going by like looks wise, and I don't know why people used to say this to me when I was younger. Foxy Brown, for some reason, people used to say I resemble her, so I would have her
you?
play me. As far as like looks wise, as far as acting talent, I mean, she's a singer, but she's multi-talented. I gotta give it to my girl Kelly Rowland. She'd probably kill me because she can sing too, so she'd do me justice.
Okay, okay. The Foxy Brown reference though, did you like that though, or that was just out of nowhere?
It was out of nowhere when I was a teenager. They're like, "Oh, Holly, you look like you can be Foxy Brown's relative. You look like her," and I'm like, and I was like, "Okay, I'll be Il Nana if you need me to." You feel me?
I dig it. I dig it. Okay. If you had a warning label on it, what would it say?
Warning: don't fuck with me.
Okay. Okay. Straight up. Straight up. I dig it. I dig it. Don't fuck with me. I got you. Okay. If you were in a high speed chase, what song would you be playing on the radio?
Run by YG, Tyga, Bia, and 21 Savage.
Okay. Okay. You getting loose. You getting loose on there. Hey, you ain't catching me. Okay. What do you see yourself at a year from now?
Ooh, let's see. Humbly or cockily?
Hey,
Let's
whatever.
see. Being cocky, um, sitting at the Grammys because my
Hey,
podcast took off how I
hey,
planned
that's
it
what's
to.
up.
So that's the cocky side. Humbly, um, reaching at least one person while I'm doing this, reaching one person at a time.
Okay. I dig it. I dig it. I like it. I definitely like it. Look at it. You got big hopes. You said the Grammys. You got to speak it into existence. It's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. Okay. What was three things that really annoys you?
Like in general.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Okay. Humans. And I have to break that one down a little bit. Humans, look, I love you guys because we all bleed the same, but you guys also don't have a sense of humanity sometimes. So that's why that number two, humans. Number three, humans. Actually, yeah.
People. You're not a people person, really.
Oh, I am, but I
Okay.
just I
Just
just can't stand how people lack humanity.
yeah. Okay. I get you on that one though. I like that. Okay. Next one. Okay. Uh, what scares you about the future?
This generation and their
Mm,
lack of not giving a damn. Um, it's not this whole generation, but a lot of them just have this I don't give a well, I cussed earlier. They have this I don't give a fuck complex, and they think that nothing can happen to them type of thing. And I'm here to tell them that that's not life. You need to do life responsibly. And stop thinking that you can put everything on social media. Come on, Gen G or Gen Z, yeah. Come on, get it together.
yeah.
Have some
Yeah.
have a sense of privacy. We don't need to know that, like especially the shade room. Don't get me started on the shade room. They the worst ones.
Yeah. I get you. I get you. Okay. What is the best excuse advice for being late? Yeah. Hold on. What is the best piece? What's the best piece advice for being late you have heard of?
The best piece for being late.
I think I said that wrong. What is the best excuse for being late you heard of?
mm, I mean, I don't think this is the best, but that my dog ate my shoes or something. People talking about my dog ate my homework. Those ones are hilarious. The best one I ever heard. Um, well, somebody broke into my car as I was on my way here to work.
Okay, yeah, I think that the whole the dog ate my shoe thing. I think yeah, that's a little weird one. I'm trying to think of one because someone said what was the advice? Well, I mean not an advice, excuse. I don't know why I'm saying advice. Excuse for why they was late and it was hilarious. I can't even remember it, but I'm gonna think of it though. All right, last one though. Do you think the opposite gender can maintain a friendship without developing a love interest?
Depends on the situation.
Okay.
For the most part, if you guys are both mature enough, then yes, you guys can maintain a friendship. But if you guys are not mature, and when I mean mature enough, I mean mature enough emotionally, is what I mean. Um, then yeah, you can maintain a friendship. But if you are not emotionally mature and you start to have friends for start to have feelings for your friend, gotta maybe sit back and think about why that is. So
Hmm.
so
Okay.
women and men, they can be friends, but it's a maturity thing for sure.
Oh, okay. A maturity thing. I got you. I got you. Look at Holly. I appreciate you coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show. It was really awesome having you on. Really great. Morning Mimosas. You guys definitely check it out. Make sure you subscribe, share the podcast, and tell everyone that Dre from the 11:30 podcast sent you over there. And definitely check her out, man. The links will be down below. Before you go, Holly, you have any questions? Any shout outs? Anything you'd like to say?
I would like to shout out my vice president, Miss Carly Sanders. Girl, I love you. And I'm sorry for everything that's going on. She's had a family emergency lately, so she hasn't been on my lives, but she'll be back soon. So I'll shout her out. And then, of course, shout out to my Lord and Savior, God. And then, of course, my mama for having me and, keeping me strong, keeping me in prayer and, you know, helping me get to this point that I'm at. So, mama, appreciate you.
Yeah. Hey, I definitely you gotta appreciate Mama. Mama, shout out to Mama though, for real. Shout out to all the mamas out there. Hey, Mama, shout out to you for real. I love it. I definitely love it. You guys, once again, check out Morning Mimosas. The links will be down below in the comments and in the description. In the description, not the comments. In the description down below. Gotta get it right. I'm always excited, man. This was a great one. Holly, thank you once again for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast. For everyone who's tuning in, man, thank you guys so much. But don't go nowhere. We're gonna take a quick break. Quick break. When we come back, I got the WTF moment and more. Don't move. You're listening and you're watching to the 11:30 podcast. You did.
That part, it doesn't happen all the time, especially not in this era with wrestling. And for you to have that moment, and then they still timed it and waited so much more.
With or without Cody Rhodes coming down, it was
I was
cool
about to
though.
say that.
But I love how they went off air immediately after Cody came out. And it was just like boom, like oh my god. Commentary didn't say a thing. We run the copyright, we go off air, and it's leaving you with a cliffhanger, like oh my goodness. But
People
man,
were sitting there Googling, trying to find what happened off the air of Raw. Theory, every single time. I'm just like, bro, this is insane. This is like a dream. Like, I remember this guy when we first started out. This guy was sitting here telling us John Cena was his number one guy. John Cena is the reason why he got into wrestling. And then you see it 4 to 5 years later, this guy is now headlining a WrestleMania with John Cena.
a rumored matchup that's been going down. That LA Knight, yeah, like that's my man, may have a singles matchup with the WWE Hall of Famer, legendary Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? I said Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yo, we're back here on the 11:30 podcast. Holly, I appreciate you coming through here on the show. Great time, great time having you on. And also, man, like, whoo, these conversations we was having about like how, man, the dude is just made father by default, and how the system is not really, it wasn't made for the black people. It definitely wasn't designed for the black man, and how the system is just, for to pull the black man out and try to, the government try to control everything else, man. Just wonderful conversation, wonderful episode of having Holly here on the 11:30 podcast. The links will be down below, so you can definitely tap in to Morning Mimosas for real. Thank you, Holly, for coming through here on the show. Like I said before the break, man, yo, WTF moment is coming up, right? So you know what time it is. It's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, WTF moment. And man, oh man, this is crazy. Kind of a little bit of what we was talking about earlier in the episode, or what I was chatting about with Holly in early in the episode, or what we was chatting about. But yeah, WTF moment, you guys. Yo, I know you may have heard of the story, but 31-year-old woman, you guys, had sexually assaulted a 13-year-old boy. Not only did she sexually assault the 13-year-old boy, she's having a kid by the 13-year-old boy. Yes, you guys, last year in June of 2022, she was arrested, but then later she was released, you guys, on a $70,000 bond. Yes, $70,000 bond, man. Not just when I heard this story, like, cause I'm all over the place with this one, because if it was a dude, man, the dude would have been under the jail, man. He probably wouldn't even been under the jail. He probably would have been dead. Who knows, man? 31-year-old dude messing with a 13-year-old girl. Now, if he was black, he'd have been in jail probably for the rest of his life. If he was white, if there was a white man, it went so many different ways though. But man, that is crazy though, bro. Really is crazy. I know me, man, personally though, I'm 13-year-old boy, man, and you got a 31-year-old shorty. I mean, like, come on, bro. Like, yes, I know it's a lot of double standard in this, man. And maybe what happened, I don't know what happened, but and it said that all of this got out by the therapist. I guess the boy has been seeing or going to, and that's where all the allegations came out. And she entered a plea deal to say she will register as a sex offender. Like, WTF, man.
Adam Serrano gave birth to a baby boy. She admitted to having sex with that 13-year-old. The victim's mother, who we're not going to identify in this story, tells us she is not happy with this deal offered to a woman she says ruined her son's life.
I feel like my son's robbed of his childhood. Now he's having to be a father. He's a victim, and he's gonna have to live with that for the rest of his life.
This mother says watching her son struggle with the reality he now faces breaks her heart.
What has this been like for your son?
It's caused him a lot of depression. He's shut down a lot.
Now she questions why this woman won't face prison time.
I feel like if she was a man and he was a little girl, it would definitely be different. They would be seeking incarceration. And I feel like because she's a woman, they're not. They're having compassion for her because she was pregnant. But I don't think they take into play, again, she was pregnant by a child. That child was created from a sexual abuse.
Under terms of the plea deal the suspect signed off on, she'll be required to register as a sex offender, and the judge could sentence her to 10 years to life of sex offender intensive supervised probation. But Serrano will avoid any jail time since the DA's office dropped the original charges to a lesser charge that does not come with mandatory jail time.
What should other parents be looking for?
Don't trust anybody, honestly. I mean, you can't trust anybody.
WTF, man, all the way, man, all the way. Like, I don't want to rough too many feathers. I ain't edited it out. I don't want to rough too many feathers with this, but Shorty ain't bad looking, man. So I want to know what went down, man, for real. Like, was it the baby situation that he had to say something? I'm assuming, right? You're 13-year-old and you about to have a baby, and I know everybody gonna be asking, especially your parents, where this baby come from, who is she, blah blah blah. Blah. So I mean, like, cause I'm looking at a picture right now, dog. She ain't all that though. Like, I mean, I ain't gonna say she ain't all that. She ain't all that bad. That's what I meant to say though. She ain't all that neither though, but man, like I don't know, man. I don't know. Was it bad? You think it was bad though? I don't know. I don't know if the pussy was bad or not. Yo, I don't even know, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. WTF though? Another WTF that she paid that $70,000 bond though too though. Oh man. All right, WTF, man. That's the show for this week. Man, it's been a dope show. Once again, shout out to Holly, the host of Morning Mimosas, for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Thank everyone, man, for internationally, all over the states, everywhere, man. I'm from DC, so shout out to all my DMV folks, Maryland and Virginia, including, that's our brothers and sisters. But I appreciate everyone. I appreciate everyone for the major support. Thank you guys, man. Tell a friend about the 11:30 podcast. This coming Friday, you guys, the 11:30 podcast Talk Pro Wrestling is back. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 Central. We're gonna be chatting some wrestling, man. Everything that's going on, the road to WrestleMania, man. It is heating up, man, for real. Definitely, we're gonna be talking some AEW and a little bit more. Shout out to my guy Raven Studio, man, from the 619, the first inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, man. So that is awesome. More to chat about, more to come. So definitely tune in. Also, you guys stay tuned for a new episode of Beyond 11:30, which definitely will be coming, you guys, man. So, man, it's been a great one. Thank everyone for tuning in and all that, man. Also, the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, is now on Good Pods, man. Yes. So if you're on Good Pods, or if you definitely listen to your podcast on Good Pods, definitely make sure you tap in, follow, and subscribe to the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, you guys. And also, the 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and you can watch the episodes here on YouTube, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Yo, shout out to my commission bros, Eric the Joker, host of the Wrestling Asylum, my guy Warren Marlowe, host of Buzzing with Marlowe. Shout out to my guy Shiz, the boss, man, of OTTR. The guy's doing it big. Celebrated 2 years of commission talk. So appreciate everyone, man, the support and love. And shout out to everyone who support the 11:30 podcast the long way, man. For real. The links will be down below to the morning monosis. The links will be down below, man. So you can get some podcast merch. Definitely support the podcast the long way. But before I head on out of here and go, you know what time it is. Don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 11:30 podcast. Like the 11:30 podcast on Facebook. If you haven't done so this entire episode, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the subscribe button, man, for real. Follow the 11:30 podcast on Instagram at the 11:30 podcast underscore. Man. TikTok at the 11:30 podcast, or all social media platforms, man. Thank you guys so much, man. It's been a great show. I'm out of here on out of here, man. Stay blessed, stay safe. Give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? For myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wells, and Holly. Yo, until next time, I'm out, man.